Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Diamond Genji. I think it's like 3400 on console. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, all that good stuff. So here we are meleeing the car. Works for me. Hello, Blah. Can you imagine if you walked out after a day of work and someone had been keying your car this bad for a good 2 minutes? Oof.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Maybe
attackers incoming.
to a VOD review of Wally World when you get there? Maybe. Okay. Here we go. It's fine. No, don't be here. You don't need to. Okay. So, like, you don't need to do that step in front. It wasn't like, oh my god, so dangerous. What are you going to do? Like, your team was here, and you obviously still had dash, which gives you the ability to get out. But you're walking into a Winston here to go get pressured. And I'm thinking you're walking into this going, oh, yes, I'm going to walk into it because it gets me closer. So I can hit multiple of my shurikens, a nice spread, etc. I don't really want you to do that from the front. Like, to be perfectly honest, I would be perfectly happy if you hopped up here and tried to throw shurikens from up here a little, or if you went back here with your guy and threw over here. Like, those would be fine. Climb up here, throw. But just going in front here, yes, I know you're like, hey, I still have deflect, I still have dash. If I take damage from more than the Winston, I'll pop deflect. That's almost certainly what's going on. You're thinking I would like to take more damage than deflect. But there really aren't great options here. Like, this going in front, I'd prefer not to do. Not with the Winston right here. Questionable to be throwing spread at that distance. You're playing back to peel. How is your play going to change? Your play changes appropriately without the cooldowns. Fine. That's good. This is good too. Then you see the tracer. No shot into the tracer because you're reloading. Unfortunate, and then you just miss. Okay, that's fine. That's mechanics. Don't walk at this. You're just forcing your own deflect. Like, you're going, I'm going to get 1 to 2 multi-shurikens off, and then I'm going to force my own not deflect. Dash. We don't need to do that. We don't want to walk into situations that force our own dash as Genji. We want to actually end up in situations where we can play a little more aggressively because we have dash. Like, here, let me think about it like this. If I can have my epic pen, console diamond, so like goldish, probably something like that. It's pretty high diamond, I think. This player has been in Masters. This I think is like 34, so it might be high gold, low plat, something on that lines. But for that role, it depends. Other roles transfer pretty well. Like just a week or so ago, I was transferring reviewing a Masters ride on PC who had just come from console like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. It didn't hold them back at all, having been there. Okay. But Rhine's different than Genji. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so here's how this works as Genji. You effectively want to play, if you think of this as like position 1, this is position 2, and this is position 3. Position 1, if you play in it, like it's the most aggressive, you'll do more damage, and you'll instantly or very quickly get your dash forced, so that you have to leave. Position 2 would be, hey, I wouldn't be willing to play here if I didn't have my dash available to get out, but I don't actually expect my dash to get forced. Or if my dash gets forced, it's going to be after a fair amount of time, pressure, etc. And then position 3 would be, this is the type of position I play from after my dash has been forced. Mostly want to live in 2. We mostly want to live in 2. This, you climbing up here, is you going into 1. It's you going into position 1. And we don't like position 1 that much because even though we might get 20% more damage while we're in position 1 than position 2, and yes, I'm making up the numbers here, we're then going to force ourselves into position 3, and position 3 is going to get 30% less damage than position 2. And if we're going to force ourselves in position 1 from position 1 into position 3 in just a second or two, 1 to 2 seconds, whereas we could stay in position 2 for like 5 to 6 seconds pretty comfortably, and even when we leave it, probably not have to use dash, though maybe they do force us to use dash. This is what's going to come out ahead. This is actually what we're mostly looking to play in when we're farming with Genji, which is what you're doing. So this is fine. I'd prefer you to angle a little harder, but this will work. I don't know about this. I don't think you have enough help up here, do you? Like, you're dashing through her to try to challenge her because you don't like that she's up here. I don't like that she's up here either, but even if you want to break this diva, breaking the diva isn't actually the way to do it. Like, here we go. You can get ult charge off the diva, but you're not about to have your ult right here. You can demech the diva if the mercy wasn't there. You demeching the diva who can buy time with defense matrix when you don't have anyone else there, when the mercy is right there. I'd really actually you go, hey, I'm going to from here go after the mercy. Not because the mercy will get you ult charges fast, but if you're going in with only 30% ult charge, you either need an elimination to get out, or you need to, kind of go, okay, I go past, I drop, I go out, I come back in, I have deflect, all those things. And it's fine to do that, but like in this situation, it would be better to go, hey, I'm going here. Are you going here to get an elimination? Are you going here to remove people from high ground? Are you going here to get ult charge? Well, going after the diva gets you ult charge. Going after the diva is not going to get you an elimination, and it's not going to remove this threat from the surrounding high ground on your team. Whereas going after the mercy could, not terribly likely, but could get you the elimination and is more likely to allow you to then work on the diva, but is also more likely to allow you to then be able to remove them from the high ground. I'd prefer in this situation that you really do go after the mercy. If you had like 90% ult charge, that might change, but for now, yeah, we would have preferred you dash for the mercy there. Oh, maybe you were trying to get both of them there and you just missed the mercy, because you then angled to try and hit the mercy with your shurikens. Okay. No deflect. Winston jumps on you, but then decides he can't stick. Okay. Don't be in the middle of the point. Get yourself back to an angle. Don't be in the middle. This isn't what we want. You could get back over here, and then you could apply pressure from here. You could climb up here, then, wall slide yourself down here, and go, hey, I'm going to apply from here. Those are both better than where you are. We don't want to be behind our Reinhardt. This is better. But where's your out? Like, you're on an angle, that's good, but you could be on an angle up here, which would be even better. It really would, because you're just kind of in the open. Yes, you have deflect. Yes, you have dash. It's not a great dash. Like, he was never going to be weak enough. He's not weak enough. He has a mercy beam. Your dash is still going to leave him with 100 HP. Yes, if the mercy doesn't stick to him, he can't jump on you and fight you, but that still wasn't great. Mercy's name looks like a replay code. It does! Rick rolling bad replay codes. That would be something. You didn't immediately pop. Interesting. When he backed up, I'm surprised that we didn't immediately get a deflect out of you. No, you're just trying to brute force this and hoping to win. That's where your deflect happened? No. When it comes to McCree, you either deflect right when he sees you because you're afraid of the flashbang, or you deflect when his health gets to a threshold that you feel like, okay, he knows he's about to get eliminated if I don't do it. That's if you can't actually read the deflect. I'm talking if you have to try to be predictive with your deflect. If you can actually react to his hand moving, that's preferable. But this was way late. This deflect was way late. Bye. Exactly. He must have not had the cooldown when he, or the McCree must have not had the cooldown when the battle first started.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
It's annoying that that's not a win anymore. But that extra health matters. And because that's not a win anymore, by the way, that was almost a feat. Like, here we are. You're doing this. You're on the McCree. That McCree's not weak enough anymore. That was totally reasonable of you to expect that, hey, I do that, and then I'm going to do this and immediately go for it. Except the problem is, even if you'd hit him with that, he wasn't going to be eliminated, even if you hit him with the melee. I don't care that you missed the melee. That's not a big deal to me, because that was just you. Like, what you just did, if you'd hit the melee, would have eliminated McCree back before he had the extra 25 health. It doesn't anymore, and you have to recognize that it doesn't anymore and chip him harder, because now you've jumped in on the McCree, and, well, turns out he just did use it there. My bad. But he used it when you went in and did this. Like, you really do need to chip him harder before you commit for all of it now, because of the health adjustment. I know you're playing old Genji. Like, you have this internalized from when you played. I think you said you played back in season 4 and season 5, and this was a legit move in season 4, season 5. Now, unfortunately, not. Still works because Zarya bails you out. I'm ready for it. Let's see it. It's gonna be too late. Okay, so it's just not happening. Why though? Like, so here you are. Okay. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible. Okay, you already have your ult charged, and why that's relevant is this tank farming becomes less useful when you already have your ult charged. That's not to say you can't do it, it's one of the ways to get more damage out of you. And you're trying to peel, which, hey, that's not terrible. But this is probably a blade. Like, you've got 4 people here, you don't have a nano that you're comboing with, your Grav is going to be comboed with your Hanzo ult, because the Hanzo ult is much worse independently than the blade. This is probably worth blading. Not like that. I don't like you dashing into this. Like, maybe you knew the lamp was going to be here, but I don't particularly like it. What? You didn't dash away? You have better range than she does. Dash away. Why do you think you can do that? Why do you think you can dash at a diva that has more than half health? Especially when that dash takes you from here, which is a sightline that, has some level of safety, to a sightline that the opponents are coming from. Why do you think that you can do this? Like, this is simply not okay. You can't use your dash to go in on people unless you're going to get the elimination. You can use your dash to go out, and you can get cute about it and dash out up to here and get damage on Genji or on Diva. Like, that's the type of dash that you can do. Or you can use a dash that finishes someone, or like on the McCree over here, if he was old McCree, will finish them almost immediately after with a combo that you've internalized. You can't dash at tanks like you are, or really at anyone, when you're not going to get an elimination on them in the next half a second, roughly. Like, it leaves you too vulnerable, even if you have deflect, especially when there's a Winston on the team. Even if you have deflect, it leaves you too vulnerable. Genji's durability is in his not getting in bad situations. It's in his, hey, I can throw shurikens from the edges, I can chip someone down, and then either I can go in for the elimination, or I can chip them down from the edges to get the blade. You have to use his wall climb, his mobility, his ability to get out with dash. That's fine, it's an isolated fight. Could have led that better. Why? Okay. No. That Winston's leaping at you. The McCree's right there. They're going to get the checkpoint. Like, you don't dash this way, you dash this way. You dash this way. I promise. Especially when you have a DC.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
This is not you dashing at McCree in an isolated duel. There's a Winston here too. No! You have no business being alive. Heal the Tracer, that's fine. Go up left side. No! No! That Tracer's full health. You don't get to just dash at people hoping they're low health. You chip them with your shurikens to get information on how much health they have, and then you go for it. Yes, I'm aware it's annoying that you have 5 people, but it actually just means you have to be more serious about your calculations. Diva's low, sure. You could have expected that she was going to get eliminated by that or other generic chip damage. I wonder if he's going to hold Blade for Overwatch 2. Maybe, maybe. This is Diamond. It should be top 500. Stop dashing, start slashing. There we go. Okay, you have your 6th person back. We held our Blade all this time for that. Who are you going to go on with this Blade? Why didn't you dash first? If you dashed first, you could have bladed over here and then had squishies to beat up on. Now a dash isn't going to get you on any squishies. You're going to end up on tanks with this Blade without a nano. That is yuck. I'm glad you got the squishies. Barely, but I'm glad you got them. Oh, I know, he's waiting for nano. There we go. Is that like asking Anna's to mercy res or Anna's to res you? Do you ask Moira's to nano you as Genji? Is that the thing? No, guys, we've seen Genjis who are worse with their dashes than this in gold, in PC gold. This isn't particularly like no, this is not what we would see in high diamond on PC, but we've seen stuff that looks like this in gold. I'm surprised you didn't dash out there. Like, it's not that big a deal to dash out when you're under that kind of pressure. Okay, please don't run up mid like this. Good. How are you gonna get out? You don't have... Okay, you're just gonna play in the middle. Why? Why do you think you can dash that when you don't know where their Winston is? Winston did use leap right after you used dash, by the way. He just happened to not leap on you, which is very fortunate. Okay. Are we really fighting them in front of the... Okay.
Are you finished?
What are you doing? Okay. So you do have ways up there if you want it, but I think you realized you didn't really have the tools, cooldowns, etc. If you want it, your ways up there were going to involve, hey, I'm gonna walk over here and I'm gonna climb up over here. That was your way up. There's obviously gap problems here. You don't really want to try to do that jump. Like this was your way up if you really wanted it, since you looked confused. So the good news is you have another blade. The bad news is I don't know if we're gonna use it or not. You submitted a quick play game, didn't you? That's annoying.
Allow me to repair the damage.
Okay. Clear the Discord. Clear it, clear it, clear it. Nope, nope, you don't. Why do you think you can push here? If D.Va just took space from you, you don't want to now be in mid because now they have angles on you. And it turns out they actually have more angles on you than you probably thought. Like, now D.Va has your old space, which means she has an angle on you when you're in the mid here. You know Zarya has an angle here. And it turns out there's a McCree up here. Like, if D.Va takes your space, you can leave, but you don't leave by going to the place where you're surrounded by them. You could leave back here and fight her from here. You could potentially leave over here and then be like, nope, I'm still on the outside. But you don't leave to put yourself in the middle of danger here. That's not what we do. Genji wants to nip at the outside of fights, not be in it unless he sees a finish he can bounce on. Good. Why is your timing wrong on this? You know how much damage Dash does. It's no mystery how much damage Dash does. Her valking here and dodging that is not what saved this. Oh my goodness, whatever. Okay. Are you tracking the Transcendence? Probably not. If you were, you wouldn't have held Blade this long in the first place. Okay. If your team's ready for it, you can wipe those guys with Blade. It's fine. Now they're moving. Yeah, you can still do this. Go wipe them with Blade. Literally say into your headset that you're going to wipe them with Blade. Slam your My Ultimate is Ready button, and then go in there and beat them up with Blade. Please? Please? I mean, you can't anymore because the trans is a problem, and, like, I get that, but, like, I'm just so annoyed. Sorry, the trans was a problem the whole time. I can't have told you to go for Blade here. That's my mistake, but, like, I'm so annoyed because it's been so... it's been so long! Are you gonna force Blade out yourself? So, like, here's the thing. You're now playing into a Transcendence, and you have to either get this Transcendence out yourself, and you already have Blade, by the way, so your target shift focus really needs to have shifted from tanks to people that can actually be threatened and eliminated. Like, when you're on tanks in part to peel, in part because it's max damage, but mostly because max damage is how you get your Blade. Once you've gotten your Blade, your biggest contribution comes into the territory of, hey, we need to go ahead and find out, use this Blade. We need to win a team fight with this Blade or get a ton of value out of this Blade so that we can win the team fight. Like, that's what needs to happen. That's what you're doing. You're actually trying to use Blades pretty quickly when you build them. If you're waiting for an Ana for Nano, maybe, but in general, Genji plays in a style these days of I have to farm up my blade as quick as possible, and then I want to use my blade at the first reasonable opportunity. Not at bad opportunities, but at the first reasonable opportunity. So if I can find an even team fight to get into with blade, absolutely that's what I want to do. That's something that I am happy to do. But then certain barriers get in the way of you using your blade, like Transcendence. Well, that's okay, because when you already have blade, I said farming tanks isn't really your favorite thing to do anymore, so you were shifting playstyles anyways until you could find a time to use blade that was in more of a pressure on their backline, pressure on them anyways, so we wanted to be pressuring Zen anyways. But we now have to pressure Zen. He has Transcendence. We have to get that Transcendence out. We have to either eliminate him or get that Transcendence out so he can Blade, or we have to go, I'm willing to trade Blade for Transcendence, and then my Moira's going to win with Coalescence, or my Brig is going to win with Rally type thing. Or more likely in this situation, we're going to win with Flux. Like, that's what you're looking to do. So I need you to find ways to either get pressure on Zen to get Transcendence out, or to get pressures on one of these two at least. Because these are, still a win condition problem for you. Or give them a win condition even if you hit yours. Yeah, no, if he got his second blade fairly quickly, and he understands the targets to go after to get blade, I suppose, but he then holds them forever. Do you think blade trans trade benefits Genji more? It depends on what tools you have. I wouldn't blade trans trade right now because I don't see a strong enough follow up from my team. If we had Flux, yeah, I'd be perfectly willing to blade trade for Transcendence. Yeah. You're in the middle of cooldown. Dash out. It's like the dog that finally catches the car he's chasing. Has no idea what to do with it. Okay. There it is. Stay alive. Stay alive. Okay. Go win. You can literally dash up right now and pull up your blade. Well, you don't have to. You guys have won the fight. I spoke too soon. Okay. At this point, no! You've weathered the storm. You're at 38 seconds left. If you wipe them now, they probably get another team fight just barely. If you wipe them 15 seconds from now, they won't get another team fight. Your team can hold for 15 seconds. Your team positionally is fine. Don't let this become two fights. Don't end their fight for them quickly. Get your thing. They're not going to have another grab or another transcendence or another self-destruct. The only thing that you have to worry about is Valk, and you can get blade eliminations through Valk. You can do it. And you don't know that they don't have Valk right now. So I really would have preferred in this specific case you'd paid a little more attention to the timer and bled another 8, 12, 15 seconds off and then been like, nope, this is the end for you. Okay. So you get a free dash. Here you go. You get a free dash, but even if you don't want to use your dash to go up, you don't have to blade right here. You could blade over here. You could go up here and blade over here. You could dash up and blade up here. Like, those are all good options. Good options. The Mercy is right there. The Mercy. Turn and swing at the Mercy. Turn and swing at the... Tanks are not our preferred blade targets, especially without nano or even mercy boost. Okay, so, well, I suppose I'll let us see whether it caps or not.
Victory.
Sure. Okay, so here's how this works. When you're playing Genji, I think you got the memo that farming tanks is good. Farming tanks is good because it's a good way to get blade. And I think everything after that broke down. Like, farming tanks is good because it gets you blade fast. After you have blade, you need to figure out how to make your blade successful. And you also go, hey, if my first priority was get blade, well, that leads us to a couple things. So farm blade, and this happens off tanks. Yes, my writing is atrocious. We're going to deal. Okay, cool. That leads us to, okay, well, then it's pretty important to use blade. And this is the first thing. You had a quick play game here, which is longer than a competitive game because of how the time works out, and you only used 2 blades. You could have easily used 5 blades in this match. You could have easily used 5 reasonably solid blades in this match. Your farm rate wasn't like super slow or anything. You just sat on blade for forever both times when you had it. So we've got to use blade. And with our blade, we're looking to take out squishies, so 200 HPs. That's what we're looking to do. That's who we want to take out. Sure, we can finish off tanks. With the later part of our blade, we want to be slashing into a tank. No problem. But we'd like to get a couple squishies eliminated with the blade before we're on tanks. So we should set up so that that happens. We should go, hey, I'm going to set up in such a way. Maybe I dash up. Maybe I walk up the flank. Maybe activate my blade as I drop from above them. Maybe activate my blade when I'm standing right behind this end that doesn't know I'm there. I don't really care. Like, farm the blade. You've got this. This is a place that we need to work on using the blades rather than holding it for as long as you did. And you need to find opportunities, and the opportunities look like, hey, let me put myself in situations where I can get on squishies when we're in a 6v6 type situation, a 6v5, a 5v6, when we're looking early in a fight. Blade is a fight that ult that we generally do want to use pretty early in a fight, and we do not want to hold for long. If you have to fight with someone else, if it's like, hey, I have blade and Brig has rally, forget Brig, you want to use blade. Like, blade is one of those ults that you want to get off pretty darn quickly when you have it. Yes, you can wait for an Ana, though it's rare that you'll have to wait as opposed to vice versa these days, but you want to use blades pretty quick when you get them. You have to find 6v6, 5v6, etc. type fights, but you don't want to sit on blade. You don't want blade to be the one that we're going, oh, well, let's keep this in our ult bank because other people are using ults. No, you want blade to be like one of your first priorities as an ult to use. Okay. What if we can't use blade? Okay, well, to use blade, we're going to have to clear some hurdles. We're going to have to go, hey, there's targets that we can get on, and we're also going to have to clear defensive ults. So maybe we'll make this 1.75. Yeah, we're skipping 1.5 and we're going 1.75. Clear obstacles. Okay, so when it comes to clearing obstacles, Transcendence is an obstacle, Lamp is an obstacle, those are the big ones. Like, those are the beat is an obstacle. Those are the big ones when it comes to ults. You could say grav and EMP are obstacles. You can get, lesser obstacles would be boops, but you're always going to have to blade through those. Flashbang stun, McCree stun, Flashbang and Brig stun are both obstacles. Those you're really generally willing to just go through if you have to, especially with Nano, but you don't have Nano here. But at least that first tier of obstacles, the defensive ults and lamp, you want to force those out first. And that's okay because your Genji playstyle is mostly I farm blade, then I go ahead and use Blade. If I can't, it's because one of these things are here, so I want to clear them. So what do I do? How do I evolve? What's the third step? Well, my third step, which is between the first and second step, if necessary, is I'm going to be working on, because I've already farmed Blade. I don't need max Blade farm anymore. I don't need max damage anymore. I'm looking for higher pressure, but I don't need max damage anymore. And pressure and damage are a little different. Sometimes you can put more pressure on a team by putting 50 damage on a Zen as opposed to 75 damage on a Winston, right? Like, even though pressure and damage are similar, but they're not exactly the same thing. And you put more pressure on a team by going after their squishies. That's what you're looking to do. You go, hey, I go after their squishies after I have my Blade farm because that's more pressure on the team. And it's not just all about getting my ult anymore. It's about putting more pressure on them to either turn those into eliminations, turn those into openings for the team, or get out what I need to then be able to win with Blade. That's what we're looking to do. That is our gameplay web effectively for Genji. We could make it more complicated. We could talk about times where you go, I'm just not going to be able to get a blade in time to win us the next fight, so I'm going to switch my playstyle to an assassination style. We could talk about, hey, I'm going to force a bunch of duels. We could talk about, hey, I'm playing a peel Genji versus a, synchronized dive Genji. There's other styles we could get into, but this is what you primarily need to understand for ladder, and this will help you go far. You've got this, but this only helps if it leads to 2.2, and if you have to go through 1.75 to get to 2, that's fine, do it. That's how this works. That's how Genji works. I know I'm giving you a somewhat complicated thing here, but this is what you want to do. So again, when it comes to your Genji, you get your blade, then, and I want you to use like 5 to 15% of your brain power to work on this to get better at this specifically. You go, okay, I want to find times to use my blade. I want to be assertive that I'm going to be the one to use my ult in the next fight. I want to be, not like way before the fight starts do I want to use my fight, but I want to use my ult early into the fight. And I'm also tracking defensives. And we'll start with Transcendence, Beat, and Lamp, and I'm making sure those are out before I go for it. And if that means I eliminated the Zen without having to use my, I eliminate the Zen because he just holds onto it the whole time, okay, I might then blade, or I might say we've then won the fight. Either way, that's fine. But that's what I want you to do. I want you to use like 5 to 15% of your brain to focus on, hey, after I've got my blade, I'm looking to now either use my blade or work on squishies until I can use my blade. Work on those squishies to get the stuff out until I can use my blade. That's how you want to play the game as Genji. That's the first thing I want you to work on. The second thing I want you to work on after you've got this down is I want you to get better at your dashes. Like, your dashes are going to get punished as you move up the ladder, even a little bit more. I'm actually surprised you're not getting a little more punished here, especially with a Winston in the game for much of the time. Your dashes are going to get punished. Your dashes need to either get eliminations, get an elimination, within half a second after when you hit the dash on someone, and be very confident that you're going to get that. So that means combos, because if you run longer than that, it becomes too uncertain because heals will get involved, other people will get involved, and then you're just stuck in the fight. So either get eliminations, or your dash gets you out of the fight. You can still get damage out of a dash that gets you out of the fight, but that's not really the priority. So we've got to have better dashes. We've got to. You have to have better dashes than this. Your dashes have to either get you eliminations or they have to get you out of the fight. And obviously, a dash into a fight where you then pull out a blade, well, your dash is going to get you an elimination, so we're not worried about that. So those are the two things. I know this second piece is the advice that every Genji gets, and no Genji wants to hear it, etc. Because well, surely that's like only sometimes, etc. No. You've got to get an elimination very quickly after you dash in, meaning you have to have a combo you're going to hit, like I dash in melee type thing. I dash in 180, immediately double shuriken their head, practiced combo that you can reliably hit, and they're at a health threshold where the double shuriken to their head will eliminate them. If they're not, you can't have dashed in the first place. Or you can dash when you're in isolated duels. You can dash at a soldier, for example, that you're fighting in the open if you're like behind walls and no one else can help. So isolated duels can be okay too. But those are the two things I want you to work on. If you guys have questions or are enjoying the content, please go ahead and let me rephrase that. If you guys have questions, go ahead and throw them up in the comments now. If you are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit. Or if you're watching this in the future as a video and you're going, hey, I have questions, I'd like to be able to get my questions answered, I'd like to be able to ask some of this stuff, the best way to do that is in my Discord. There is a channel that is called Get Notifications. And if you react in that channel, you will get the watcher role and you will get a ping whenever I go live. So you can be here when I'm live to ask questions that I can then answer for you. See, it works pretty well. Okay, let's catch up on these questions here. We talked about the blade trans trade, poor tracer, the turrets. Yeah, it's time. Big blade, save the game. Yeah, there was a stagger opportunity on that Mercy. Zen would have been the better initial target. He should have pre-positioned for that Zen. But even when he did pull out the blade, swing at the Mercy. Swing at the Mercy rather than waiting on the bubble. Oof. Yeah. Yeah. Poor Sigma. But wait, if attacking tank gets me blade faster, if I attack them with blade, then I get nano blade faster. Sadly, no. Sadly, no. Most people are platinum this game. There are a few golds, only 3 hidden profiles. Oh, you looked everyone up. Okay, Detective Blah here. Well, the Genji told me that they were in diamond here. They told me that it was high diamond. In fact, that's what the report was. So I'm not usually checking aggressively to be like you whatever. All good, all good. Isn't gold the higher percent? Is rally an obstacle? Yeah, rally is a degree of an obstacle, but rally becomes an obstacle. It's not that rally is like completely an obstacle by itself, but the totality of rally is an obstacle. Because what you run into is everyone has extra health and is generating extra health, and the Brig has stun, which she always has, but can move faster, can stick to you a little better, can, do a bit because she gets her speed boost, can get in the way. Like the totality of rally becomes annoying, so you're generally better waiting until, hey, I would like to. If you have Nano, you're generally going to say, forget it and go anyways, especially if you have Nano and Mercy. But if you have Nano, you're generally going to say, forget it, I'm going to go anyways, because I'm going to live through being stunned by the rallying thing, and I have more stopping power to get eliminations. I'll be okay. Like, I can stand here and take an extra slash on a target if I have to get eliminated, because I have extra defensive power, and I also have extra cutting power with the blade. So if you have a Nano, rally's not that big of a deal, though it's certainly annoying. Um, and it's a valid partial countermeasure. Rally with a flashbang, with boops, like rally with a hack, rally plus something can be annoying enough to really stop you from getting value, but it's generally worth nanoblading into rally. Regular blade into rally, you'd really prefer to get rally out first if you can, and then chip it away, or you would go, hey, let me rephrase that. You don't necessarily want to blade while rally is going, is what I'd say. Regular blade while rally is going. You'd generally be okay if rally's already come out, because if rally's ended and the armor's still sticking around, your team, you can just wait a couple seconds for that to chip down. But I wouldn't want to go in while rally is going. If it's like, hey, do we have to get rally out of them before we go in? There's pluses and minuses to it. I wouldn't put it on this Genji's tracking list, because I would like to keep this Genji's tracking list simple. Um, and again, rally changes based on whether you have Nano or not. Do you have Mercy Boost or not? That's fine. It's okay. Again, you can cut through a rally. A rally is not the end of the world, but it's certainly annoying. It's a strong enough partial countermeasure, sort of like Whole Hog, where Whole Hog is this a counter? Kind of. Okay, we would like to consider it. Is the Hog having Whole Hog really going to be enough to stop us from using our blade? Type thing. Okay. He really was in Diva's face a lot, more often than he should have been. Yes, he was. Briggs' existence is low-key an obstacle to Blade. Yes. Yes, it is. I mean, Briggs' existence is a low-key obstacle to Genji being a hero with any pick rate. Okay, that's gonna do it. I needed this one to be a quick one, and it worked out reasonably. I probably could have shaved off 5 minutes, but that's okay. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. If you are, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit. And with that, I'll see you guys later. Thanks.